What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We've got some news in the coaching world. Luke Fickell headed to Wisconsin. I don't think they've officially announced that, but there are multiple sources. I mean, this is all over the place, so it seems like this is official. Yes, Luke Fickell, the guy that a lot of people have talked about. Every time there's a big coaching search, a job comes open, it seems like he's right there at the top, and for good reason. This, I think, is a home run hire for Wisconsin. I'm also going to touch on the Matt Rhule to Nebraska hire because I've not had a chance to talk about that. Really didn't find out for sure about that until yesterday morning, and I don't really record videos on Saturday with all the games on and everything. So I'll give you a quick reaction to that. Also, we'll talk about the Auburn job, which continues to take twists and turns. But let's first start here with this one, Luke Fickell to Wisconsin. Like I said, I think this is a home run hire. I was really scratching my head when they fired their coach. I didn't think it was a good move. You look at the consistency of this program. Yeah, they got off to a bad start this year, but they really have been, I thought, really about to where the peak of Wisconsin could be. I mean, they're right there in the Big Ten West pretty much every year, but I guess there was a little bit of a downward trend in there for Wisconsin. So, you know, it paid off. It paid off because I think Luke Fickell is again a huge. I mean, this is a great hire. You look at what he's done at Cincinnati. I mean, first year was 4-8. Yeah, didn't have a great year, but since that first season at Cincinnati, 11-2, 11-3, 9-1, 13-1, and that included a college football playoff appearance. And then this year, 9-3, that was his worst year really since that first season. I mean, he's proven that he can do it at Cincinnati. And this is not a Power 5 program. This is not a program with the resources or the fan base that Wisconsin has. Region-wise, it's a good hire. Knows the region pretty well. I just think this is a home run hire. He's proven he can recruit. He's proven he can get it done on the field. This is, I think, as good of a hire as you can get at Wisconsin. And you look at this program, they've proven in the past that they can compete at the highest level. Or that they've never been national championship contenders, year in and year out. They've maybe had some years where they were in that conversation. Does Luke Fickell take them to that level? Well, it's possible. I mean, again, look at what he did at Cincinnati. No reason to think he can't do this at Wisconsin. I tell you what, the Big Ten is really going to be interesting when you add USC in there. UCLA, assuming they're able to come over. Of course, there's some drama with that. You look at the way Michigan has now elevated themselves. Ohio State, Penn State continues to be a great program. Now you maybe throw Wisconsin into there. Yeah, this is going to be a very tough race in the Big Ten moving forward. And again, I think Luke Fickell can get Wisconsin where they can compete for Big Ten championships. No reason to think that they can't. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same for Wisconsin. You're no longer going to see a team that plays good defense and runs the football 75% of the time. That's really all they do. You would expect an offense now that is going to be able to be more balanced. They're going to be able to recruit better players. And again, with all the resources they have, the fan base, everything that Wisconsin has, no reason to think they can't be one of the top 10, 15 programs in the country under Luke Fickell. Now, he's never really proven this at a Power 5 program, so we'll see. But based off of what he's done at Cincinnati, there's no reason, in my opinion, to think that he is not going to be a great hire for Cincinnati, for Wisconsin coming over from Cincinnati, based off of what he did there. So now let's go. Again, just wanted to quickly give my thoughts, my reaction to this. Matt Rhule to Nebraska. This, I think, is a good hire. I think a lot of people are maybe turned off by Matt Rhule because of his career, or short career in the NFL. But remember, Nick Saban struggled in the NFL. I think it's a really good hire for Nebraska. I think he's a good fit there. You look at what he did at Temple. Year 1, 2-10. Year 2, 6-6. Year 3, 10-4. Year 4, 10-3. So it took him 3 years. It's the same thing at Baylor. Year 1, 1-11. Year 2, 7-6. Year 3, 11-3. Took him to the Sugar Bowl. So it took him 3 years at both stops. We'll see if he can do that at Nebraska. I think depending on who comes back next year, I think they have a chance actually to bounce back quicker than that. I think they could be, a pretty good team next year. again, we'll see what they have coming back. It's going to be crazy this offseason because of the extra COVID year and the transfer portal. These teams are going to look a lot different next year. But, like I said, 3 years for him. He's been able to get it done. Can Nebraska fans be patient if it does take him 3 years? They've waited a long, long time. Scott Frost kept giving him more time, and he just couldn't get it done. And that seems to kind of be the thing for a lot of these coaches. Year 3 is when you start to see the improvement. Look at Mike Norvell at Florida State. Took him 3 years. First 2 years were not good, but this year, really good season. So I think that's kind of what you have to hope for if you're Nebraska. I think a lot of those fans are expecting a super quick turnaround, and they're going to be right there in the thick of things next year. Probably not going to happen that way. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 years, but I do believe this hire will pay off. I think it's a good hire, and I think he's proven that in a similar program, like Baylor, that he can get the job done there. And just like Wisconsin, tons of resources, tons of fan support there at Nebraska. No reason to think that he cannot succeed. But again, a guy with a lot of experience, 2 head coaching jobs in college already. I think he's going to do a great job for them. So let's go back to the Auburn job. Of course, I did a video on Lane Kiffin to Auburn. Thought it was a done deal. Obviously, some of these sources out there did not have good information. What I believe happened here, and I may be wrong, this is simply an opinion, just based off of all the evidence that's out there and kind of piecing it together. I believe that Lane Kiffin's agent had been in talks with Auburn. There had been talks there. Lane Kiffin, based off of the things that he said, did not have any talk with Auburn. And I believe that Lane Kiffin believed that he was going to go to Auburn. That's why he never just flat out said, "Hey, I'm not leaving. I'm staying at Ole Miss." He was always, well, my plan, I think, as of right now, my plan's to be back. I think the future's really bright. He never really came out and said, "I'm not leaving." And I think that's because he thought he was leaving. You look at the way they finished the season. I think maybe could be possibly a contract that they couldn't agree on. Whatever happened, I think something fell apart there. And I don't believe Auburn ever actually offered him the job. And now I believe they want Hugh Freeze. And there's plenty of evidence for that. You can just look at Hugh Freeze. He would take this job, and I believe 100% based off of the things that he has said. But now you're starting to get a lot of backlash from the fans. They don't want Hugh Freeze, and I think Auburn may be backing off on that. It's hard to say for sure. They may still go with Hugh Freeze, but based off of what I'm hearing, again, a lot of fans unhappy with that potential decision. So who does Auburn go with now? That's going to be an interesting wait and see type thing there. I don't think it's going to be Cadillac. I know a lot of fans would like to see him. I wouldn't mind just letting him have a shot and spend some money on some really good coordinators, but I don't really think they're going to go that direction. Jeff Grimes, offensive coordinator at Baylor, I've heard his name out there. Deion Sanders is not an option. So we'll see what happens with Auburn. I think they'll make a decision here the next week or so. If it's going to be Hugh Freeze, I think you'll hear that today or tomorrow. But if it's not if we don't hear anything today or tomorrow, I think they will not be hiring Hugh Freeze. And then it'll just kind of be a wait and see, like I said. Also, Kenny Dillingham looks like he's probably going to Arizona State. I don't have anything concrete on that, but those are the rumors. As the coaching carousel, not quite as wild as it was last year, but again, some big jobs out there, and we'll see who winds up filling these jobs and how it potentially changes the future of college football. So a quick reaction here again to Matt Rhule going to Nebraska. Luke Fickell, again, home run hire, as good as it gets. That's as good of a hire as you can get, I think, if you're Wisconsin. So hats off to them. I think Wisconsin now becomes a very dangerous team in the Big Ten. And it'll probably just take him a couple of years to have that team rolling. So your thoughts on these hires, let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.